Oh, shit. Turn this off. Welcome, everybody. What's up? What's up? It's Coach Renz. And there was no microphone on for those people. All right. It's Thursday. It's book club day. Book club day on Thursday. Kybalion. Still with the Kybalion. Got 2 more chapters in the Kybalion. And then we're gonna move on to the next book after the Kybalion, but we got 2 more chapters. I think. Quite sure there's 2 more chapters. Yeah, so we got causation, we got gender, which is relatively long. Oh, then we just got like a summary of it. All right, so we almost there, y'all. Got a few, but maybe 2. Yeah, we got about 3 weeks. About 3 weeks left of the Kybalion before we move on to the next book. Today we are doing the law of causation, or which is more commonly known as the law of cause and effect. Love this chapter. This chapter is great because this is one of those things that when I was moving away from religion, and I found out about the hermetic laws back in around 92, 93. It was before 93 because I hadn't got to Europe yet. So this had to be like 91, 92 when I found out about the law of cause and when I found out about the hermetic laws. And the law of cause and effect was a big player in that understanding that there's no such thing as miracles. It's just causations that we don't know the answers for. But I am Coach, for those finding me for the first time, Coach Renz. We deconstruct religion as well, but the main thing here is to build each person up in a way that they can pursue their own happiness, their own joy. Got a couple other pages I want you guys to go and join. One is called Really Did You Know? Different crazy facts, things that we don't know. Like if you never knew where the term cat got your tongue comes from, there's multiple sources that they came from. So I want you guys to go check out that page as well as my page. And Michael, make sure you hit me up so we can do that first interview. My new page, In and Out to Legacy Business. We're gonna develop business. And sometimes we have to do small things in order to get to the big things. What you smoking? Oh, so I'm the owner of Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge. It's one of the businesses that I have, and this one is called Emperor's Cut. You mostly gonna have to. They're south. They're mostly in the southeast, but Emperor's Cut. This is their. Which one is this? This is the Natural Pleasure. Natural Pleasure. It's a Maduro. So, but I own Smoking Phoenix Cigar Lounge in Stone Mountain, Georgia. Are you smoking a Liga? Which one? Which Liga? Which Liga? Actually, I got on my. Oh, for you, hey voice guy, go to my Smoking Phoenix Cigars TikTok because after I do this and take care of a few things, I'm doing a live. And I'm doing a review of a new cigar that we're carrying in the shop. So I got a cigar page. So it's Smoking Phoenix Cigars. But using that to get things tuned up, let some people get on here as we go through the Kybalion today. Got to light it up first. Why am I getting? I'm getting my cigar. I'm getting this. Hey, cigar people, y'all need to go to my cigar page, Smoking Phoenix Cigars. But San Lotano, I actually smoked those last year at this time when I was in Vegas for the PCA cigar convention. which I'm not going this year because I'm going to a wedding this Saturday. So tomorrow morning, driving down to Savannah, going to a wedding. Otherwise, I would be going to PCA in Vegas. But I did smoke that San Lotano while I was there. But I smoked like 50, 60 cigars in a matter of 4 days. It's a cigar commission. Unfortunately, it wasn't one of the ones that I bought and introduced to the shop. But I did do a lot of, I got me talking about cigars on the wrong page. Got me talking about cigars on the wrong page. Yeah, and I do some other dumb shit on my cigar page. That page is just fun. So I got my coffee. I got my cigar. Let me know if you need some marketing strategies. Actually, that's part of what we do on my new page, In and Out to Legacy Business, is we go over some marketing strategies. We go over marketing, we go over business development, whether or not it's viable, how long that business can work. Business coaching is one of the businesses that I really enjoy. I enjoy my business coaching. I enjoy that one. I don't get as much time to do it as I would like because I'm running a cigar lounge all the time. Let me put that right there so I have room. But let's get started with our Kybalion law of causation. It's called the law of causation, but most people know it as the law of cause and effect. And I do try to answer questions in between as we go. What's your take on astrotheology, esoteric knowledge of the Bible? Actually, when I do discuss the Bible, everything other than the contradictions and things like that, we do pull out the esoteric understandings of the Bible and any other writings from that era and writings, period. That's one of the purpose of the book club Thursdays. Astrotheology, the overwhelming majority of the ancient religions were all astrotheological religions, meaning that these religions were based on the things that they saw in the skies, and they made up stories to fulfill what they saw in the sky and to explain how the universe was created. Each one of these characters represents something. For instance, Jesus represents the age of Pisces. And like when he told them, when go into this town, find a man carrying a pitcher of water. That represents the age of Aquarius, the new age that they were going into. Jesus came into preaching at 30. The sun goes into a new age at the 30th degree. And he died at 33, according to the story. And the sun goes out of an age at the 33rd degree. But there's a whole bunch of them. Each of those patriarchs represents different ages for the great year. And then, just a bunch of things that all these things just add to different esoteric understandings of the universe, astrology, astronomy. All the astrology and astronomy used to be the same thing, but it all adds up to a belief and understanding of how the natural universe works. This is why, see, I'm finna segue it back. This is why the Kybalion hits so hard and hits so good, because the Kybalion is those basic first 7 laws of the universe. Of course, there are laws within laws. And these laws, you can't break them. You can use law against law that will give you the appearance that you're breaking a law, but you're just using some laws are stronger than other laws. And the law of causation is one of the most powerful of the hermetic laws that you can ever learn, that everybody can learn. If everybody could just learn this, how cause and effect works. If you want to figure out how to change something in your life, how to add something, how to grow, how to whatever, understanding the causal effects, the causation, you can then begin to determine your effects. So all that mental gymnastics, like that book, The Secret, which was bullshit, that just give you, oh, just think this, just think, oh, just pray, just meditate, No, it takes more than that. And now previous week we went over, we was in last week? Last week was the law of rhythm. And you saw how, so when it comes to that, I want you to think about it in terms like this. You had, who is this pulling up? What is the county pulling up over here? Sorry, I'm at my cigar lounge, of course. But what you had was, when we talked about the law of polarity, the law of vibration, the law of rhythm, how all of those work together, right? If you want to identify what the pole is, increase your vibration up the pole, and then use the law of neutralization to polarize yourself at one end of the pole, and so that you don't experience the big swings, right? Well, how do you increase the vibration, or how do you decrease the vibration relative to what your desire is? The law of cause and effect, the law of causation. That's how we do it. So let's get started. Let's go ahead, because I don't want to repeat myself 11 times, because some of these parts are going to say exactly what I'm saying right now. All right. So let's get busy with it. Eyes wide open. Ain't seen you in a while. Eyes wide open. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. So if I say a name, it might be a name on the other ones. That's one of my folks. Like Morris is over there. Michael. We got Teresa in the house. All right. So causation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. The Kybalion. Just that by itself. Understand that by itself. You're good. The great six hermetic principle, the principle of cause and effect, embodies the truth that law pervades the universe, that nothing happens by chance, that chance is merely a term indicating cause existing but not recognized or perceived. That phenomenon is continuous without break or exception. We call luck, chance, and miracle causations that we cannot identify. Using the car wreck, you the only person, you didn't get hurt, not a scratch. It's not a miracle. You just don't know the causation of it. You don't know, because of the speed, direction, angles, all these different things come into play that determine the fact that you didn't have an accident. You get healed. People go to the hospital, they get healed by something. Oh, it was a miracle. It wasn't a miracle. It was goddamn medicine. But sometimes the medicine works on some people, sometimes it doesn't. Everybody knows that I dealt with a friend of mine who had cancer, pancreatic cancer, last year, and around at this time last year. And even though I had prior done research on chemotherapy, in most types of cancer, chemotherapy, 98% of the people don't live. So how do you account for that 2%? It's not a God of the gaps. It's causations that's going on that we don't know, that haven't figured out yet, as to why that 2%, it works for 2%, but doesn't work for 98%. And I know the question is, why do they keep using it? The almighty dollar. Get a lot more money for that treatment. All right, so let's continue. The principle of causation underlies all scientific thought, ancient and modern, and was enunciated by the hermetic teachers in the earliest days. While many and varied disputes between the many schools of thought have since arisen, these disputes have been principally upon the details of the operations of the principle, and still more often upon the meaning of certain words. The underlying principle of cause and effect has been accepted as correct by practically all thinkers of the world worthy of the name. To think otherwise would be to take the phenomenon of the universe from the domain of law and order, and to relegate it to the control of the imaginary somethings which men have called chance. So basically just saying in this part that anybody who got a brain or who thinks have come to recognize that the law cause and effect is always in play. A little consideration will show anyone that there is, in reality, no such thing as pure chance. Webster defines the word chance as follows: a supposed agent or mode of activity that a law, other than a force, law, or purpose. The operation or activities of such agents, the supposed effect of such agent, and a happening fortu- fortuity, causality, etc. But a little consideration will show you that there can be no such thing as chance in some sense, in some sense of something outside of the law. Something outside of the law of cause and effect. How could there be something acting in a phenomenal universe independent of law, order, and continuity of the latter? Right. So there can't be anything that is chance or miracle or luck, because then that would mean there's a force that operates outside of all other universal forces. And there is no force that operates outside of all universal forces. Now, this is where a person of religion will come and say, well, yes, God operates outside of space, time, the universe, all these sorts of things, and God is the only one who can break law. Now, I will give you that the all, as we have discussed when we was few weeks ago, that the all does have the ability to uh, operate above law, but the all chooses not to. It stays out of it. This is why I constantly say on my other videos, there's no deity out there geppettoing your life. That's all involved. That's having all these conversations. That's making alliances and separating people, and telling you to go genocide this and genocide that. There's none of this is shit. None of shit's not happening. You're not sitting up here saying that. Well, I'm gonna bless you. You already making millions of dollars. I'm gonna bless you with $1 billion. But I'm gonna let these children die of cancer. I'm gonna let these children starve to death. That's not happening. It's not happening at all. The all just created because it creates, and then it just lets everything roll. You are the ones who are determining every other facet in your universe, your individual universe. So although this is where people may jump to that conclusion, it is an escape from their own personal responsibility of understanding the causations of every aspect of their life as much as they possibly can, and then being the causation of their life as much as they possibly can. It was funny. Sorry, I know I'm rambling. I just love this law, right? Because this is the power right here. Uh, Cause and effect. Me and my lady was talking about some financial things last night. And I made a decision. We was talking about where we was going to live when we joined households, right? And I was insisting upon my house. Some of it was baggage that I was carrying from previous relationship, because I didn't want to move I didn't want to move into another person's house. I just didn't. But financially, her situation would have been much, much, much more profitable. Some of the financial struggles I've had this year, I would not have had them as much if I had made that decision, right? So when I had a down month, it wouldn't have been so much of a big deal, because I would not have been putting out as much expenses on my end. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Sometimes it doesn't happen immediately, but there's long-term cause and effect situations. So just saying. It just popped in my head right there. It wasn't a blessing or the devil doing it. No, just cause and effect. All right, continue. Cutting in the ladder. Such a something would be eternally independent in the orderly trend of the universe, and therefore superior to it. We can imagine nothing outside of the all being outside of the law, and that only because the all is the law in itself. There is no room in the universe for something outside of an independent and independent of law. The existence of such a something would render all natural laws ineffective and would plunge the universe into chaotic disorder and lawlessness. So without law, without these universal laws, the universe will be in chaos, right? And I know if you are a Bible reader, you know it says that in the beginning the earth was in chaos. So there was no law. But at no time ever have there been in the existence of the universe a point in time where law has not existed, right? Law has not existed. The decisions we made last year has brought us to this point. Exactly, William. Exactly. You will make decisions today that reverberate in your future. So be mindful of all your decisions you make today. A careful examination will show that what we call chance is merely the expression relating to obscure causes, causes that we cannot perceive, causes that we cannot understand. The word chance is derived from the word meaning to fall, as the falling dice. The idea being that the fall of the dice and many other happenings are merely a happening unrelated to any cause. You know that sounds. I know this totally. That sounds like one of those things from Really Did You Know? Like, where did the word chance come from? And it comes from falling dice. All right, hold on. Let me see what Kimberly says. Okay, explain this one day I was prayed for the Most High to choose my life path for me. I walked into a charity shop and found a camera stand. I've always wanted to be a photographer. I own 3 cameras. I prayed to the Most High when I was low in faith. I went to get my hair cut. I went to get my hair cut and bumped into a. Okay, well, one thing I can tell you this. Everything is energy, right? I don't know what the full story is. I don't know if you're still typing, but everything is energy. The energy that you put out often returns back. We like to believe in this idea of serendipity. There is no such thing as serendipity, as luck. And the true story of serendipity is that these 3 princes was going out looking for people who were prepared for an opportunity. So you had to be prepared for the opportunity. People call serendipity when you start thinking about something, or in your case, praying about something, or you start talking about something, just like we talk about somebody here and then that joker walk in the door. That energy that goes out brings in those people. Hold on for a second. Just because you see my car don't mean I'm open, damn it. I'm doing my live, man. I do my live from 10 until noon.
Know, bro, but I get screamed at when I don't come in here and spend money with you. So.
But you see my car.
So I was like, yo, the motherfucker here.
That don't mean shit.
What's up, Square?
We got hours.
I understand that. It means everything. It means everything.
Well, stuff.
I'm just saying, if I don't come in here and spend money, then I get judged.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, what are we talking about?
I just wanted to fuss at you for coming early.
Naturally, right?
Get your shit go. Sorry about that. But while he's shopping, now this is where that book, The Secret, was talking about. Pray about something, think about something. Then all of a sudden you will be attracted to those things. And those things will be attracted to you. Your reticular cortex in your brain will often identify things that's always been around you, but you didn't notice it because you weren't thinking about it. You weren't focused on it. You weren't going for it. But the moment that you start emotionalizing a thought, which is something we talked about in the law of mentalism, the moment you start emotionalizing a thought, serendipitously, you will start to meet the right people, be in the right situations, and then all those things will start to seemingly manifest around you. But then but what we don't realize that we started taking causal factors came into our life that we started recognizing the opportunity. Then we started going and putting ourselves in those positions for opportunities to come our way. Right. So it's not because some deity made it happen. The deity had nothing to do with it. You went in there and you saw the camera, and you've always wanted to be a photographer, and it was something you was praying for, because now you're emotionalizing that thing that you wanted to do. And since you emotionalize it, that camera's always been there. And there's been other cameras that you were passing by, seeing in places, and you had the opportunity then, but you weren't mentally, you hadn't started making that a part of your being. So you didn't you didn't notice it, but now you do. And that's how everything happens in life. The only problem is some people will get to that point, they emotionalize it, the opportunity will be there, and then they'll allow fear to cause them not to do whatever it is they were supposed to do, whatever it is that happened. And then you were saying that you was in low faith and you went to get your hair cut and bumped into, it didn't continue, but to whomever you bumped into, I'm assuming they increased your faith, right? They helped you in some way because your energy was seeking that out. And that's what we got to understand about everything that's around you today, is because it's things that your energy is seeking, has sought out. I used to blame some of the women that I used to date and say, why in the hell do I keep ending up with people who don't match with me, right? But then I had to check myself and my own energy. And once I checked myself and my own energy, and I realized I was allowing people who were seeking my type of energy to increase who they are to be around me. And then I would just allow them to be there instead of rejecting them as I should have. Because they weren't what I was seeking, but I was what they were seeking. Hold on, let me take care of this joker. Look, it's gonna be like brick red.
Yo,
my office hours
are
from 9 to 5. Now I don't want to have to hold you from the top of the building, because you're too big to hold from the top of the building.
I am, and it's a short building. I can make this fall.
Not the way I would hold that. Dangle your ass and drop you on your head.
Open it up.
Now, what you been up to, man?
Some of that same shit.
I wasn't going to this wedding. See, I ain't even got my system boot up yet, because I'll be going to Vegas this weekend.
That's what's up.
But I'm not. I'm going to Savannah. But it's PCA.
What's PCA?
It's the biggest cigar convention. Last year.
Oh wait, this week y'all went to last year, right?
Yeah.
You came back with a bunch of treats and all that.
Oh yeah. Just on the freebies, man. I came back with like 120 cigars.
Yeah, can't even go wrong with that.
Nope.
And I have to come back and see you when I earn that. Yeah, right behind you.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
That ashtray with the double-edged equal.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't. It's a square on there. He heard you.
Oh, that's what's up. What's up, brother?
Here we go. I don't know. You act. Go ahead and earn it. I might let you have it. Earn mine, but I might let you have it. You ain't gonna get it, but I might let you have it. Get your discount here, sir, for your deal of the day.
Thank you.
There you go. And I know what you're gonna do. Next week, when I'm in here doing my video, you're gonna see my car there, and you're gonna think, oh, he there, he gonna let me in. He gonna talk shit.
Yeah.
But he gonna let me in.
I would do it all the time. Well, I'm gonna tell you why. Because if I drive 20 minutes out of my way to come make sure that you're good, I'm gonna fuck with you. I got you. And you gonna fuck with me. Why? Because you love me.
Oh, well, you went too far right there.
No, you love me.
No. All right,
brother.
Be safe.
You too, Pop.
parking my car in the back. If I park my car in the back, they won't know I'm here. Oh, man. I'm sorry. My bad. Wait, what? I'm a damn herbalist. I just asked you a question. Oh, you're not talking to me. Talk to somebody else. You sell backwoods. I don't. Yeah, he's a square. I'm a square. So what's up, square? Just eat some mushrooms and go within. Books written by man can confuse you. Yeah, I'm not gonna go with that one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love mushrooms. I'm not advocating for anybody to go do mushrooms. I love mushrooms, but I'm not gonna say books written by men are confusing because um, nobody is. We're not born already knowing. If we did know, that'd be great. But nobody knows that. But we're not born that way. We have to learn and grow and develop, and we have to become. We have to. Nobody, if you take a child and they're born and you just leave them out in the woods and there's no, they're gonna figure out some things, but they're not gonna figure out some deeper mysteries. They're not. It's just not gonna happen. But reading books, yeah, we should read books, and some books are confusing, right? Some books are confusing, but that's where you have to learn how to decipher. You have to learn how to dig deep, read between lines. Like when we first started this book, I told people I'm not going to agree. Everything in this book, I'm not going to agree with. And just like I don't want everybody agreeing with me. You can say I'm wrong all you want to, but show me a person who didn't learn anything from anybody. Somebody, they may not have read something, but somebody told them stuff. Somebody taught them something. So reading a book from man can be just as confusing as listening to the words of man. It can be confusing either way. Wait, okay, I don't understand because you said just don't read. Now, maybe I'm misunderstanding you. If you're saying the mushrooms and the reading combined can refocus you and give you a deeper insight, I'll be right there with you. The experience is more powerful. True, the experience is more powerful. And if that's what we're saying, okay, I don't know what you're saying, man. I have no idea what you're saying. You lose me. Because I will tell you this: ever since I started experimenting with mushrooms, my insight into things and into reading like this book and other books that I've read since experimenting with them, my insight has been overwhelming. It's been more significant. So I'm not going to discount the books. I would rather, for me, I combine the two. Yeah, I don't know what he's saying. Jesus. Yeah. Osiris and Heru and a whole bunch of other people said that they were the way, the truth, and the light. So, but on this channel, we don't believe in such things as Jesus. God told you time is running out and seek the relationship. It's amazing how God is always telling somebody else what to go tell somebody else. Ain't that amazing, y'all? That is amazing. He always telling somebody else, and for every generation, he's always telling people time is running out. It's the end time, y'all. And I put out a challenge: prove it's the end time, and it got to be in the order that your book says it. If it's not in the order that your book says it, then it's not proof. But we're gonna get through this chapter. I'm not gonna get distracted. We're gonna get through this chapter. If we were done with this chapter, I go all in on what you're talking about, sir. But we ain't, because you can't prove Jesus. You can't prove your deity. None of that. And I can disprove the hell out your deity out of the Jesus book and the Bible. And exactly, Mississippi mud back in the house. The Bible is confusing whether you're on shrooms or you're not on shrooms. You can be the most intellectual person. The only way the Bible is not confusing if you choose to turn a blind eye to everything that it says and justify it. Right. So anyway, and see, I like when people are stupid. Your necklace is demonic. You don't even know what my necklace mean, dude. Oh, moving on. Where were we? And this is the in the Kybalion. And this is the sense in which the term is generally employed. But when the matter is closely examined, it is seen that there is no chance whatsoever about the fall of the dice. Each time the dice falls and displays a certain number, it obeys a law and infallible as that which governs the revolution of the planets around the sun, back to the fall of the die are caused, or chains or causes, running back further than the mind can follow. The position of the die in the box, the amount of muscular energy expended in the throw, the condition of the table, etc., are all causes and effects which may be seen. But but back of these seen, but back of these seen causes are the chains of unseen proceedings, causes, all of which had a bearing upon the number the dice will fall uppermost. So, like, I was supposed to be going to Vegas this weekend, but um, I'm going to what this fool just said. African, that doctrine is demons. Shut the hell up. I was supposed to be going to Vegas this weekend, but I'm not, because I'm going to a wedding. When I go to Vegas, I play craps. It's the only game I play. I never lose. I never lose because I understand the law of causation. So if you ever look at a craps table in Vegas, you have to throw the die all the way, and it has to hit the back wall. The reason why they wanted to hit that back wall, because those little studs that they put on the back wall, it's going to cause the die to not fall in a certain way if you're holding it a certain way. So if you're holding the dice with two certain numbers up and you throw them, they hit the wall, you have a higher probability of them landing on the number that you desire for them to land on. But they put those bumps on it so that it disrupts that throw. The law of cause and effect. They do this all the time. All right. This always happens. Like I said, the mind is powerful and you don't need the shrooms. No, you don't have to. Yeah, I know people who don't use shrooms and they still go to the astral plane. Go to Egypt and learn about that necklace. Sir, I've been to Egypt probably more times than you've been to the grocery store. I've certainly been to Egypt more times than you studied anything. I can definitely guarantee you that one. Yeah, because I'm look. If you let me warn some of you. Some of you guys may just be finding me for the first time, and I know when you find people like me, most of the time they're real gentle and they try to keep this nice demeanor. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. You come at me with some stupid shit, I'm gonna go ahead and blast you out there. I don't care. I'm not here to win friends. I'm not here to win friends. All right. Not at all. These videos were originally made for that. If I ever die, whenever I die, my kids have my knowledge, my grandkids, and whatever else is after that. That's who these are for. Then they're for like-minded people. So when people come in here who are uninvited and they speaking and they ain't got nothing to do with them and they just trying to be cankerous, I'm gonna give them right back to them the same energy. I'm not that guy I ain't running for president. Right? I ain't running for president. So basically, when I got somebody who's idiotic and think they understand what this mean and don't know that it just means everlasting life, that is the balance between the masculine and the feminine energy, but they want to say it's demonic because they caught up in a stupid little Bible that was created and manifested by the Roman government because they wanted to shut down the Jewish revolt, and they don't even understand that historical point. Because if they understood that one historical point, then they would realize that all other writings and everything else thereafter is a bunch of bullshit that was created to control people. Not even realizing that none of their writings were ever written until they weren't written until 100 all the way up to 900. And then it was constantly being changed. First, you got the book of Enoch in it. Then you take the book of Enoch out. But we're going to reference the book of Enoch. That all those things that Jesus supposedly fulfilled, those prophecies, were written after a time frame so that they already knew what the prophecies were supposed to be, so they can write a story about a person fulfilling those prophecies because they already know what to write. But they can't see this. See, this guy calls himself wisdom and understanding, right? But the problem with wisdom and understanding is that first you must acquire the knowledge before you have wisdom and understanding, because your Bible tells you that in all you're getting, get knowledge and then understanding and wisdom. But you don't have none of that because you're still on here talking dumb shit that you know what this means and you have no freaking idea. And I hope that you're not black. but you probably are, which means that you're carrying on your slave master's religion. Because if we really want to go there, you're carrying your slave master's religion, bro. Like that video I did yesterday with a little girl. I'm Peach. And then she called her little brother, stupid. That little girl tickled me. I know the Unk is exactly Mississippi mud. Unk is a symbol of life. And your little cross is a symbol of death. And they want to talk. I know another reason why I am in rare form, because I'm about to have 3 days off. And I'm going to a beach. And y'all know how much I love my beach. So I am hyped up today. I can't wait to see that water. See that water. You know what? I just learned something on TikTok, right? Is that you could do this thing where you can get rid of people, because I ain't got time for that fool. I ain't got time for him. I ain't got time for him. He ain't gonna throw off my goodness, bro. Now I forgot where I left off. All right, where were we? Dice, right. So understand that in everything, like the reason why there are professional, think about it. I want y'all to think about this. How much sense does it make that people can claim to be, and that people, I kicked that dude off, wisdom and understanding, I kicked him off. How difficult, how are there people who are professional gamblers, right? Professional gamblers. It used to blow my mind back when I was like real young. Like I'm talking about high school, and first time I heard professional gamblers. They must have understood something, is what I used to always say. They must have understood something. The first time that I was introduced to the law of cause and effect, it made me realize what professional gamblers understood. They understood cause and effect. That when you count cards, you're counting the cards because you're trying to be the causation of the effect. There's a numerical value to it. There's a mathematics to all these things that determines what's going to happen, right? And math, exactly. So and I fell in love with craps. That was like, I'm gonna say about 98, 99. And of course, the dealer was helping me, telling me what to do, how it worked. But then I won like $750 in like an hour. You know how long it would take me to win that much playing blackjack? I was like, I love this game. This game is quick, and I made more money faster. So I was like, cool. But then I had people start telling me how if you hold the dice a certain way, you got to throw it a certain way, all these different little techniques to get the die to land how you want them to land. And as we had read, chance comes from falling of the die, according to this book. I'm gonna look that up and research a little bit more later. But I have yet to go and play craps and lose. Almost lost last year, but my man Ghost went on a 30-minute roll on 2 numbers, won like $1,500 after I was -8. You said magnets inside of them or weight? Oh yeah, all kinds. You could put weighted dice, magnetized dice. It's all cause and effect. There's no luck. There's no luck to anything. There's no such thing as chance. Now apply that to every aspect of your life if you think about it. And there are instinctive things, follow your gut kind of things. I told the story a few times how my gut told me to go left. I was leaving work one night. This is like back in 2015. My gut said go left. But my brain, because I know going right is faster to get home, I went right. Soon as I went right, stopped at the light, sitting at the light. As soon as I turned, here comes a police officer, get behind me. The tag light was out. He pulled me over because the tag light was out, but we know why he pulled me over. But what I did not know is that I had missed a couple of child support payments, and my license was suspended. And then I had to go spend 7 days in the clink. until I got everything sorted out. Right now, if I had went left, here's the crux of it. There was a letter for me at home that I hadn't opened that told me that my license had been suspended. So if I had went left, got home, it's possible I could have opened that letter, saw that my license was suspended, and then go handle it. But instead, I lost 7 days in jail because I didn't listen to my gut. Or you can say I lost 7 days in jail because I didn't open my mail. But there's a causation to all of it. You see what I'm saying? Every aspect of your life, there is a causation. And the moment you learn to control the causations, the moment you become the most powerful person ever in your life. Hold on, let me hang this up. All right. Have you studied split atom theory? Nope. What about dreams? Are they messages? Sometimes dreams is you. Sometimes a dream can be a message, but it's your consciousness getting into the ether. It's not, the dream is your consciousness getting into the ether. It's not some deity sending you messages, or it's other minds. And see, that's why I say into the ether, even though I know sometimes to some people ether is a bad word, because my mind can be in the ether. Consciousness of previous lives can be in the ether. People like to say the ancestors are in the ether. Can messages be given to you from other people? Sure. It's just like if you were to drive down any street and you look over at a building, but like, you know what, I would love to put a restaurant right there. You ain't the first person to come up with that idea. That idea is up in the ether. So you just pulled it down and you got that thought. That's why every thought that you have, somebody else has. See, there are some esoteric things that we do pull out the Bible. Like Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. There are no new ideas. You didn't have a new idea. I've somebody else had the same idea. You just pulled it out the ether at the same time, or that idea has already been floating, and your antennas caught it and pulled it in, right? And then you're like, oh, you know what would be great if I put it's funny, I forgot which person. There's a lady on here on TikTok. This cigar lounge originally was going to be it was going to be an herbal store. I was going to turn this into a herbal store, natural healing, all the bowls and the chimes and the vitamins and the all that stuff, the incense. That's what this was going to be. And I was going to put the cigar lounge the next door, right? But some the person who was going to run it for me, that kind of fell apart and all that kind of stuff, so I didn't do it. After I had opened up but after I had the lease, I still had the lease. Do you know that about 2 weeks later, I met this young lady and her husband, and they said they had been looking at this space for years, and they were either going to put a cigar lounge or a herbal store in this same space. They just wanted them to remodel it. The difference is I convinced the landlord to remodel it just so that, and they paid for it. But that same idea, they had the same two ideas in this same space. So that's why I tell people on I just started that new page, In and Out to Legacy Business. One of the repeated, and I might do that as a message today. When you have an idea, move your feet. Move your feet or lose your seat. That's what's gonna happen. You got to jump on it because somebody else got the same idea. So if you had a dream and then you driving past a place and that deja vu hit you and you're like, damn, I know I've been over that place before, but that place, that's gonna be an ice cream shop. Yeah, better jump on it. I'm just saying. But let's get back into the chapter because we got to get the chapters done before noon. I want the chapter done before noon before we can just talk about everything. All right. Back to it. If a die be cast a great number of times, it will be found that the numbers show will be about equal. That is, there will be an equal number of one spot, two spot, etc. coming up uppermost. Toss a penny in the air and it may come down either heads or tails, but makes it sufficient number of tosses, and the head and the tail will be about even. This is the operation of the law of averages. But both the average and the single toss come under the law of cause and effect. And if we were able to examine the preceding causes, it will be clearly seen that it was simply impossible for the die to fall other than it did, under the same circumstances and at the same time. Given the same causes, the same results will follow. There is always a cause and because there is always a cause and a because to every event. Nothing ever happens without a cause, or rather a chain of causation. Now, you can also think about that law of averages as far as when we were talking about last week, the law of rhythm. As far as it can swing to the right is as far as it's going to swing to the left. And rhythm is always at play, and that rhythm continues to swing. The people who minimize their swing are the ones who understand cause and effect to maintain that vibration to the right, and they have minimal swings. When we was talking about rhythm, I used the example of relationships. If you know the cause of you acquiring the relationship that you have, whether it was the dating, whatever you was doing in the dating process, however you took care of the person, however you communicated with the person, how you loved the person, how you sexed up the person, all those things that you did to cause the person to get into this relationship with you, the moment you start slacking off, now the person's energy is moving out of the relationship with you. So if you want to continue it, you got to get back to what got the person in. Now, because change is always a constant, we are beings that have an experience every day, and that experience every day can change our emotions. It could change our outlook on life. It could change a bunch of things about us. You have to be always moving in the direction of understanding what other causations you need to input and increase in the relationship to make sure you stay over here to the right. Right? That's the key of everything. Like that's how that's the key. That's how everything works. That's how everything. That's how your money works. That's how your money works. That's how your love life works. That's how your health works. That's how everything works. And you can be the controller of that. All right, let's continue. Some confusion has arisen in the minds of the person considering this principle, from the fact that we were unable to explain how one thing could cause another thing, that is, be the creator of the second thing. As a matter of fact, no thing ever causes or creates another thing. Cause and effect deals merely with events. An event is that which comes, arise, and happens as a result of a consequent, as a result of consequence of some preceding event. No event creates another event, but is merely a preceding link in the great orderly chain of events following from the creative energy of the all. So basically, everything has been, from the moment our universe, and I say our universe particularly because this ain't the first universe. The moment our universe of existence began, from that moment, everything has had this ripple effect. So it goes from event to event to event to event, causation to effect, causation to effect. But that causation creates an effect. That effect becomes a causation to create the next effect, and so on and so forth. This is how you can get into a rut. But you can change the rut, but this is how you get into a rut. I have a library card to a pharmacological field where all ideas come from. The word metanosis. Okay. The word metanosis came to me 3 in 2019. All right. Causes and symptoms. Is it cause and effect? Symptoms is kind of in the middle. All right, so let's continue. Okay. Craven Jaw. There is continuity between all events preceding, consequence, and subsequence. There is a relation existing between everything that has gone before and everything that follows. A stone is dislodged from a mountainside and crashes through the roof of a cottage in the valley below. At first sight, we regard this as a chance effect, but when we examine the matter, we find a great chain of causes behind it. In the first place, there was the rain which softened the earth, supporting the stone, which allowed it to fall. Then back of that was the influence of the sun, other rains, etc., which gradually disintegrated the disintegrated the piece of rock from a larger piece. Then there was the causes which led to the formation of the mountain and its upheaval by convulsions of nature, and so on into infinitum. Then we might follow up a cause because the rain, etc. Then we might consider the existence of the roof. In short, we would soon find ourselves involved in a mesh of cause and effect from which we would soon strive to extricate ourselves. Basically, to an event happening, there are so many things that come into play. This one gave the stone falling onto a roof of a house. You might say, well, the earthquake caused it to fall. Well, if it wasn't for the rain that preceded it earlier, that softened the ground or separated the rock, then the rock would have never, fallen, even with the earthquake. So there are preceding events and all these other different factors that come in. Right. Somebody just said that. So many factors. There are so many factors that could come into play. One of the things that we have to look for is what is a dominant factor that we can bring into play to manifest anything in our lives. Right. What is your take on soul contract theory before we incarnate? Yeah, I don't think we have. Well, you know what? Let me not say that. I just realized. I think I understand. Are you saying that soul contract theories is that you have multiple souls that are bound together, that are connected, and as no matter what, when they incarnate, they seem to seek out and find each other. They always end up with each other. If that's what you're talking about, yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think that there are some certain soul consciousnesses that are connected, and they continuously find each other in lifetime after lifetime after lifetime until they both ascend. And sometimes one ascends, the other one's here. One has ascended, the other one hasn't. But I do think that they generally ascend together. But sometimes they don't ascend together and have to wait for the other one to come there, and they can start the process again. Great point. What's the dominant factor? I call it your dominant point of attraction. That's a good title. That's a good name for it. Do you decide who to contract to join up? I can't say that one. I don't know, because it will be a contract that was done way before my consciousness, way before this iteration of me ever came into existence. So how the contracts, I'm not afraid to say I don't know, but how they come into connection, I don't know. Some people say that they were, bound and separated, and now they're always trying to rejoin each other. I've heard people use that as the why, that they were originally to one and then separated. And it could be like cellular mitosis. To one cell and then it separates, create two. Isn't that cellular mitosis? Is that what that's called? I'm probably saying the wrong name, but yeah. So, just a door see. So, yeah, I don't know, but I think that you can be. I think it's not just one soul, like this soul and that soul. I think that's our mindset, how we view relationships today. I think you can be connected. You have contracts with multiple souls, and not all of those have to look romantic. That there are certain, like my guy Brandon. I don't know. It's just me when I'm, we just friends right off the whip. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I started whooping his ass in Madden. But we was just right off the whip as soon as I met him. Whereas other guys in the Marine Corps that I met, yeah, we were cool when we was together, but I don't talk to them no more. But it's a few, just right off, And no matter what, that's my guy, And we could have been that could be a contract that he exists in that one. Yeah. Hey, Soul Brother number one. Some of y'all might not get Soul Brother number one reference. Y'all know I watch a lot of movies, so I love movies, bro. So Soul Brother number one. And I have no idea where I left off. It was on this side of the book. And it's finished down here. It's great. Got it. So you definitely want to find that dominant factor, that dominant causation. 12-year Navy vet, thank you for your service. Good old cab driver driving us to the fight. I had to say so. I really helped you in 2018 on your waking up. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Just want to be of good service. Oh, using Desert Storm. The real Desert Storm. Oh, it ain't gonna say not the real one. The first one. I was at the first one in 90. Yeah, the first one in 90. Interesting. But I can't fully take credit for Desert Storm in 90 because we got diverted to go and evacuate Liberia first, and then we came back to the rear, and then we went to Desert Storm. By the time we got there, it was desert cleanup. But we still had to clear out some buildings and things like that. Fort Hood, Texas. All right, I got to continue to read. We can get back to that kind of stuff after I'm finished. Oh, so you Shield and Storm. Yeah. We could probably have some conversations about some of the foolishness that was going on during that time frame as well. All right. Just as a man has 2 parents and 4 grandparents and 8 great-grandparents and 16 great-great-grandparents and so on until when, say, 40 generations are calculated, the number of ancestors run into many millions. So it is with the number of causes behind even the most trifling event or phenomenon, such as the passage of a tiny speck of soot before your eye. That is not an easy matter to trace the bit of soot back to the early period of the world's history when it formed a part of a massive tree trunk, which was afterwards converted into coal, and so on until a speck of soot, it now passes before your vision on its way to other adventures. I have literally thought about that. I have literally thought about that. Oh yeah, we can link up. Where you at, Mr. Say What? Where you at? But I've literally thought about that. I've sat down. I'm sitting, and I see a speck of something, or go by, or even watch a leaf blow, and I go through the thought process of the whole process of that leaf having that moment with that leaf, right? That leaf was part of it. It's blown. It was part of a tree. That leaf came out of the branch. The branch came out of the trunk. The trunk came out of the seed. The seed came from possibly another tree, or just where it goes. One of the reasons why I love sitting by water is because I see a wave crash, and because I've been out on the water, and I know my Navy guy maybe have thought this too. When you out on the water and you see a wave crash, and you just wonder, that water has traveled around the world. That water has been rain, and it's fed trees, it's fed plants and animals. Like, that water has been traveling for eons and eons and eons. All right. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Yeah, I'm working on my collection because I'm about to start selling these hats. In and out to legacy business. But thank you, Debbie. But I see all that. Like, when you see water, when I see the waves crashing, and because it has that movement, I think about that. Like, the eons of travel, that drop of water, and all the things it has been. Like, next time y'all go to the beach or a lake or river or something, just especially the beach, because you got the vastness of the ocean. Just think about it. And of course, there's evaporation, there's being consumed and then coming back out and then being part of an animal, and then that animal gets eaten and so on and so forth. It's a mind trip, right? It's a mind trip. So I had to stop right there because every time I read that part about the little piece of soot going past your eye, it just amazes me of how energy just transmute from one thing to another thing to another thing, and the journeys that it's been on, you know, and the different levels of consciousness that it's had. And so I think about that and think about us as a higher conscious being. We get so stuck on this life and so attached to this body, not recognizing that this energy, this consciousness has been around and around and around and around and around. And after you leave this body, that body that y'all in now, it'll keep going somewhere else. Not this finite, oh, it goes to heaven and that's it. You know how boring that would be? That's boring as hell. That is so boring to me. That if after this, that this is my first existence, and then I only get another one, and it's in heaven praising some deity, or according to some of these people come on here, I'm going to hell. But you know what I'm saying? That's it. 2 stops. 2 stops. I don't want to take the express to get to California. I'm trying to take the back routes. I'm trying to drive around, trying to see some stuff. That's how I